had asked Tammy to have copies made, have them put out.
Okay, I didn't get one, when I asked Dave, he said no.
I said I didn't have one. I didn't say it wasn't out. I said I
Okay,
didn't
well, I
have
expected, since you're chairman, that you would have one.
We'll call for a vote.
one. Call for a vote.
Mr. Ely?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Mr. Prescott?
Yes.
Department reports. Ed Crashaw, Road Department.
Got 2 mowers down. One should be fixed here tomorrow. We've been working on Ely Road, fixing the slip, installing catch basin and pipe, cleaning up after the storms, all the trees down. I need to order some 15-inch culvert pipe, $6.80 per foot, 40 pieces, $5,440. Since I've been working here, I've installed over 120 pieces of pipe, 15 inch. That's not 12, that's not 18, that's just 15 inch. And we're not done yet. And I get it by the half a load, it's 40 pieces a half a load. Just need permission to get that. I ain't got a whole report on Ely Road, but it's gonna be somewhere in about $10,000 to $12,000 for that slip repair. And I know Tammy gave you a copy of the stuff that the road department's in need of. I'd like to have a motion to order that international truck from U.S. Municipal.
You're wanting the International with the stainless bed?
Yeah, stainless steel body. It's all co-stars, $118,739. We've been talking about it since the first of the year. Want to see if we could get that ball rolling, like have that truck before winter. Another thing we talked about last meeting was trading in the excavator. Didn't know if we made any decision on that.
Not yet, but we can discuss it.
Looking at mowers, the mowers we've been buying, the side mowers and stuff from Walsh and U.S. Municipal and in places, they're $28,000, $23,000. Did a little research on the internet, found a Rhino DB 150 hydraulic ditch bank mower, 60-inch rotary with double chain guards for $11,207. It goes on your 3-point hitch. PTO shaft drives a self-contained hydraulic system which turns the mower heads. I talked to Evolution Ag, got a number off of them where they had sold one to another township in Ohio, up near Slanesville or something like that. I called the guy up there. He said they've had theirs 2 years and haven't had no problems. He said if they could afford another tractor, they'd buy another mower right along with it at the same time. I got some prices on some rollers, pretty pricey. They're $122,400, $111,400. One's an 84-inch, one's a 66-inch.
Yeah, does the co-op still own a roller?
They have that rubber-tired tar and chip roller.
I thought we had a vibratory roller at one time in that co-op. That was years ago, though.
Isn't that the one they rolled over somewhere? They rolled over on somebody?
Could be.
Yeah, around 231.
Yeah.
That's been 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It's probably in the boneyard now.
Question. The roller you're looking at, is that a double drum or a single drum with wheels?
Single drum with wheels. Because of the roller, we'd have to get another trailer and everything, and the guy that I talked to Believe it or not, he said rollers are hard to come by right now for some reason. One place can't even quote me a roller. He said they can't get them. He said that get the one with the rubber tires because you can transport it. You know, it'll self-drive. That was his recommendation.
It's also safer.
When a new road drag's $10,560. I think, Tammy, did you have the specs for all this?
Yeah, everything's right
Yeah.
there. When they have a copy of it, any of the residents.
So all the specs and everything's laying up there, if you want to look at them after the meeting or whatever. That's about all I got.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the closing of Delajon. This last closing was done by Mark West, is that correct?
That's correct.
And now when they had obviously had a permit to cross the road because it was a result of a road crossing of a pipe, correct? And does that road crossing permit give them the right to close the road?
I don't know.
You know, Gary? They're putting in a pipe or gas transmission
I
line.
heard somewhere they're supposed to give a 48-hour notice or something that's in the paperwork that is in with the road bonds or the, whatever the paperwork is, or something about a 48-hour notice.
I would imagine that's in there, 48-hour notice.
I
But I don't know how they could put, if we give the permit to cross the road, how they could put the pipe in without closing the road down.
Well, because usually they close half of it at a time if the road's
Well, he said,
wide enough.
I did ask Bill Toohey about that, it's who I spoke to on Monday. I received a phone call from a resident and wanted to know about the road closing. Left me a voicemail. I got on it, got the answers, called her back, and called Dave, called Tammy, called Heath. What Bill Toohey said was the road's so narrow up there that they can cut that road and cross it in one day. He said they can't really plate it and have the machine sitting there and let the traffic come through. He said it's just a safety issue, and
I understand that, but I think that we need to have that notice.
Sure.
You just can't close a road.
I don't know when they posted it.
I think we need to
Over the
advise
weekend.
them in writing that they can't just close a road without authorization from the township.
They need to give notice to somebody, either call the office, call the chief, or call you. I mean,
All I know is they said the sign was up and,
Well,
We didn't get any notification.
the fire department's not had it, didn't have any notification.
well, they need to be
I think we need to correspond with them,
cautioned about doing that.
and we directed that be done. I guess we could direct that be done. Timmy would send them a letter advising them that
we
we need
could probably send out, if we have all the bonds of people that have recent road bonds, we could probably send them out a notice and then just make a paper and attach it to the.
That's good.
Yeah, that's fine. Send that to anyone that has a road bond. Let them know they gotta give us notice so we can notify the proper emergency response teams, police, fire, road department, whatever.
That's what I told the guy that's working out on Crane and Buck Run. He's doing a creek restoration out there, and got a call from a resident right before the 4th about the road being rough. I went out and looked at it, called the guy, told him it needed to be repaired before the holiday. He wanted to know what he needed to do. I said, put some 2A modified in it just to get it patched up for the holiday, and then make your repairs after you're done running your trucks. He went to the people he's working for, they won't back him on the bond, and it came up to where he has to eat it, and blah, 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 song and dance. So I gotta meet with them about, and them in 10 Mile about patching the road. And I told him, he was gonna close the road and patch it himself. I told him, I said, let the office know 48 hours in advance. And I said, make sure your signs are out. And I said, notify me also, that we got a Royal Mail carrier that he don't like when we close the roads on.
Anything else, Ed?
That's all I got.
One thing I do want to bring up, and it was brought to my attention, there was a concern on Main Road concerning when it was going to be mowed and ditched. I would ask all the residents, don't call its personal cell phone number. If you have a problem or a concern, call the township office. They can refer the information to Ed. I don't think he needs to be bothered on his personal cell phone, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I have a work cell phone, and the phone number is 724-681-4040.
Well, that was me that texted you today, and I thought that was your work number. I apologize.
Thank you.
Good, JD.
Could you just, or might already be, is that like on Donald Township's website for the road department? That number?
I would imagine it is.
If it's not, you can put that on there, that way nobody, you know what I mean?
Yeah, or if
And
you
that-
call into the office, I mean, it'll give you the road department's numbers.
I try to answer that phone all the time, and if you leave a message, I will get back to you. It may be a little while, because if I get your message, I'll work on your problem and try to have an answer when I call you back.
Thanks, Ed.
You're welcome.
What do we want to do about the truck and
Well,
excavator?
down under additions to the,
You want to go down there?
yeah.
Okay. Fire department, Eric Graham.
I have a couple things tonight. First, in June, we ran 31 calls. 11 of those were EMS calls, 20 were fire-related calls. Fire loss, pre-incident value of $220,000 on those things that were structures that were involved in fire. The losses were $250. We gave mutual aid 10 times, received it 6 times, 9 calls overlapped one another. Our average response time from dispatch to arrival on scene was 6 minutes for the month. We also had, we had 1 cooking fire, 7 accidents with injury, 7 EMS calls, 2 crashes with injuries, 2 crashes with no injuries, 4 hazardous conditions, 5 water problems, 1 water evacuation, 1 assisted invalid, 3 standbys, 4 calls dispatched and canceled en route, and 1 no incident found upon arrival, which would be a good intent call. 6 trainings, 11 work details, and 2 meetings. We utilized 705.73 man hours in the month of June. Second thing I have is, we've spoken a few times about the stop sign in front of our station. And we would like to have it moved. So I printed out some information for everybody regarding placing a stop sign. Now, the portions highlighted that are going to be important to you under Title 75, Chapter 61, which is Administration and Enforcement of Traffic Control Devices. Chapter 6121 says PennDOT shall publish a manual for uniform system of traffic control devices. A copy of the sections regarding the stop sign is also in that packet of that manual. Section 6122 gives you the authority as a municipality to erect a traffic control device. Section 6124 talks about erection of traffic control devices at intersections, and it says municipality may erect a stop sign, may erect and maintain a stop sign. The next page is the manual portions of the manual uniform traffic control devices. Section 2B.10 talks about stop signs and yield sign placement. It says they shall be near the side of the intersection on the right-hand side, shall be located as close as practical to the intersection which it regulates, while optimizing its visibility to the road user or its intended to regulate. It says the sign should not be placed further than 50 feet from the edge of the pavement of the intersecting roadway, and references drawing F in figure 2A-3, which is also included, and we'll get to that. Section 3B.16, stop signs and yield signs, talks about stop lines. There was some discussion about stop lines. And it said they should be used to indicate the point at which the vehicle is required to stop in compliance with the traffic control signal. Being that you can place the stop sign prior to the intersection and then put a stop line actually where they are supposed to stop. You go on back, there are in 2A-13, it gives you the examples, and in A, it talks about how far a stop sign should be back from an intersection. It says a minimum, or it says 6 to 12 feet from an acute angle intersection. And if you look at F, it talks about no further than 50 feet from that acute angle intersection. If you go up and measure from where the Main Street, that lane of traffic actually intersects with Main Street, which is the primary roadway. From there to the far side of our parking lot, which we would like the stop sign to be moved up Highland from our driveway, that is 41 feet. Okay, so you're well within the 50 feet to move it back on that side of our driveway and take it out of the intersection. Actually, where it is now, if you stop at the stop sign, the left front of your car is in the Main Street intersection. Which is actually better than it used to be, because I think it's moved a couple feet up Highland now from where it originally was, so before it was even worse. Then the last thing I have there is chapter 33, subchapter B, dealing with right-of-ways, chapter 3323, which is stop signs and yield signs. And it tells you what your duty as a stop sign is. And the parts I have highlighted: a driver of vehicle approaching a stop sign shall stop at a clearly marked stop line, or, if no stop line is present, at the point nearest the intersecting roadway where the driver has a clear view of approaching traffic on the intersection roadway before entering. If after stopping at a crosswalk or clearly marked stop sign, the driver does not have a clear view of approaching traffic, the driver shall, after yielding the right-of-way to any pedestrian in the crosswalk, slowly pull forward from the stop position to a point where the driver has a clear view of approaching traffic. So if they do stop at the stop sign, 41 feet back from the intersection, okay, then it directs them in the vehicle code to then slowly pull forward until they can see down the road. So those are all the sections that are going to apply to this. You know, I know I've talked to a couple of you different times and talked to Ed. We've been kind of dealing back and forth on this a couple months. I would like to see that placed on your agenda tonight for a vote to have that stop sign moved. Okay. The last thing I have on the fire department is we provided you guys, the fire department provided you guys with some correspondence dealing with some assistance financially with our mortgage. So we haven't got an answer from the board yet, and I would like that to be placed on the agenda also.
Okay. Did everybody on the fire marshal?
Yep. In June, I did do 3 inspections for fireworks permits, which all of those were approved. Had no investigations required. What I have here is I've been working on a report for any of the accidental fire investigations that are required. And this is what I come up with, containing all the information that is required through NIPERS and personal information that would be required. Obviously, all the pages aren't always needed. You know, most of them are honestly going to be the first probably 3 pages to be listed. So if you guys want to take some time to look at it, you can look at it tonight or the next meeting or whatever, and get some approval on whether that report is acceptable to use. Okay. That's all I have.
Water and sewage?
That's fine. The past month, we had an issue with the water plant. Actually, it wasn't the water plant, it was in Ohio County. I think they had a problem with a piece of equipment and let the tank level get down. Some of the folks in the higher elevations did not have water pressure. Some of the people on higher elevations didn't have water for a brief amount of time. When I started getting calls from residents about the water being out, I contacted John Forrest, who in turn contacted Ohio County, and they indicated they had an issue. And they said it'd be a couple hours before they were back up and going. And I think the residents in the high areas, that's Highland Avenue, Upper Highland, I think they, it was a couple hours before water service was returned. I don't know what the issue was, but they seemed to get it fixed. It was on their side. We got a lot of the repairs done at the plant, after the water system break where the fill station was, and I believe there are another motion on the agenda that deals with parts that's needed to finish some of those projects.
That's all you have for that?
Yeah, so.
Ready to go to code enforcement?
Yeah. Okay. This is Mark Gordon's report. Non-traffic issues, no citations, investigation, one complaint, one dealing with property maintenance and one dealing with junk vehicles, 6 follow-up inspections. He withdrew 4 citations. From the same defendant. Excuse me, the writing's a little bit difficult to read. It's also attached a correspondence to this. And this is a letter of resignation. Position of Township Code Enforcement Official or Officer, please accept my 2-week notice. Final date will be July 17th, 2017. I believe the position was to be on a probationary trial basis. See how it works. I do believe a lot has been accomplished. I did try to address all resident concerns brought to my attention. However, the township is going through some restructuring in the government with the addition of 2 more supervisors. I believe it's the best newly structured township government make a decision whether to utilize a code officer and who they want to use. I've been with the township long enough period to give the current and future officials a good perspective. Contact the office if they wish to contact me in 2018 once the changes in government take place. I would be more than willing to speak to the township again. Staff and residents have been great to work with, and I thank you, Mark Gordon. This was issued July the 3rd. Yeah.
Motion to accept his
If you want to
resignation.
do that now, I got it down.
That's fine. You can do it down there.
I've been writing it down below.
That's all you have for him?
Yep.
Engineer?
You might want to talk about the township garage project and the engineering that's being done on it. Yes. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the engineer is finishing the drawing of the construction of the new township garage. He will be, he's already been authorized to advertise the changes in the specifications, and that is soon to take place. That's the first item, the township garage. The second item that he is working on, we had actually had, he and I had a discussion earlier tonight. The gym roof has developed a leak, and the shingles apparently on that roof have been repaired at some point in time. Eric, you
15 years ago, probably.
15 years ago, and they were in bad shape then, and they're not in any better shape now. But my discussion with him earlier tonight, he indicated that he would be taking a look at that project and will probably do put it out for bid, or either or 2 bids. I guess one is a shingle roof and one is a metal roof. And so that's his process of doing that. We probably want to authorize him to do that and do the advertising. And be waiting to hear back from us.
You want to do that for official motion?
Yeah.
Dave, from engineer?
I was engineer.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's all.
All right, Gary.
It's my understanding that Michael Crooney from my office and Ed met with the range people over this escrow issue
Yeah.
that they keep raising, and that you come to some kind of agreement
Yeah.
concerning how much you're gonna maintain. I think it's $5,000 plus a bonding for all their affected roads. And that the excess will be refunded to them. So that's in the works, as I understand it. Ed, you're okay with that?
Yeah, my understanding was, and I had a misunderstanding before the meeting. Originally Range had a blanket bond on the whole township. And at one of the meetings I was at with Eddie Stout or something, they ended up bonding each road individually and carried their blanket bond for emergency purposes. And then they followed the other bonding procedure. Well, I didn't know that they relinquished their blanket bond and had an emergency bond in place that covered the whole township. It was sort of like a blanket bond, but it wasn't $750,000 worth. And they was paying escrow on every road that they was bonding. Well, Range does their own road work. We don't have to babysit them. They blacktop, they do whatever they gotta do. So we came to an agreement that they put $5,000 into the account for their escrow, and they can bond whatever road they want to bond off of that $5,000. That was my take on the meeting.
Right, that was what Michael
Yes.
briefed me on. Okay. It's my understanding that the supervisors have entered into negotiations with the International Union of Operating Engineers. They're the collective bargaining representative for road department, and also township secretary, assistant secretary, police secretary, clerks, road workers, and group leader operators. That's the bargaining unit that's been described for years in prior agreements. And that they are requesting an extension of their existing contract through December 31, 2022. I reviewed the agreement. There were just a couple of items I pointed out to Mr. Cord, the union representative, and that concerned an employee who was off on workers' compensation, full disability, and the township was still carrying the health insurance and other benefits. In other contracts that I've been involved in, we put a cap on that, and he agreed to 1 year. After 1 year, that employee, if they're still off, loses their health insurance and they have to pay themselves. They don't lose their seniority. So if they ever come back, they have a seniority position. And the same thing holds true for an employee who is injured in a non-work-related accident. In that instance, he or she could be off work, you're paying benefits, there needs to be a cap on how long you have to pay in benefits for it not to be open-ended, and he agreed that that would be 18 months. So those are the only two changes. He sent me an email confirming that. It's my understanding he's going to be delivering a revised agreement that contains those changes to the township, I think tomorrow. So I didn't see it on the agenda. That should be an item that you add to your agenda if you're going to take action. That's all I have.
Planning Commission,
We didn't have a meeting last month, because we didn't have anything to discuss. We do so far have at least one subdivision to look at this month, so we'll be having a meeting.
Police Department.
Yes, sir. The month of June 2017, we provided our minimum 496 man-hours of service. Not in the report, we provided an additional 15 hours to Donegal Township that was reimbursed by Range Resources for addressing commercial traffic. In June, we initiated investigations on 12 UCR reportable crimes, to include 4 criminal mischiefs, 1 DUI, 2 thefts, 2 harassments, and 2 possessions. We answered 191 calls for service. We closed 7 of those 12 investigations. 5 remain open or under investigation. There was $7,995 in property loss for the month. There is a typo there, that's for the month of June. There's also a typo in the next line. In April, officers conducted, that's supposed to be in June, officers conducted 43 traffic stops, produced 25 traffic citations, one non-traffic citation. We patrolled approximately 5,473 miles, we used about 406 gallons of gas. The fines collected by the magistrate for the month are included in the report. Also attached to the report is copies of the Buffalo and Clayton reports.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Good, Lee.
90 days ago, I asked that the police department take a look at the speeders on Highland Avenue.
Yes, sir.
Is any of those citations on Highland?
No, sir. No, I've sat up there. I've sat up there myself. My officers have sat up there.
I haven't seen you out there, okay. The other day, I was heading west on Highland, coming in from West Line, headed out. And right above Eric's house, where the hill starts up, I almost got head-on hit there. Because some guy came flying out of West Virginia, a 2- to 3-ton Dodge truck, as it was been seen several times. And he had to slide sideways when he locked up his brakes to get around Bob's car and go over against the curb.
Yes, sir. And you called?
No, I didn't call it. He was
Oh, I'm
going
sorry.
fast. I didn't get a license number or anything.
Well, okay, but I mean, my point
My point is that I said something about.
You did, and we've addressed it. And I believe at the time I said, look, if it's not getting resolved, say something. Somebody almost hitting you, to me, says it's not getting resolved.
Right.
You need to tell us. We have one guy at a time. Now, the speed limit up there is not enforceable. There's no place up there that's conducive to use the type of speed equipment that we have. We make a presence up there. We sit up there, despite the fact that you haven't seen us. We sit up there. I've done it myself. If there's still a problem, I need you to tell me. You need to call us when there's a problem, please.
I see we got the decals on the car.
Yes, sir.
What's the status on getting the other one fixed for the deer? Get it?
I have to make an appointment with Frank's.
Dave, can I ask the solicitor a question on what he said?